Hi everyone, welcome. I think we can get started and just let people drop in as they do. So welcome, my name is Duam. I'm the chair of the TPN DMV chapter. I'll pass it to Gannet, maybe introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Gannet. I am the TPN vice chair and treasury for the DMV chapter.
Hi everyone, my name is Saron. I am the Professional Development Chair for the TPN DMV chapter.
Yeah, so we're really excited to have you guys. This is our second session in our crypto series that we've been doing over the last few months. And we're really lucky to have Mickey here, our crypto expert, because this is really important financial knowledge for us to have, both for us to succeed as a community here in the US when it comes to investing and cryptocurrency and things like that, but also to support our families back home. So we're really glad you're here. One thing I want to stress is that if you don't have experience with cryptocurrency, it's a learning process. It's a learning process for me. So I really want to encourage you to ask questions in the chat. We're going to start with Mickey's session, and then we're going to go into some information about Tigray Art Collective and the really exciting work that they're doing. And then we'll go into Q&A. So, I mean, Nikki has prepared a really great presentation for you guys with good examples, but either way, it might be difficult. So if you want him to slow down, if you want him to re-go over things, please mention it in the chat. Don't be scared. This information and the whole point of this is for us to grow financially as a community. So if you don't leave this presentation with better information, then we failed, and we can't make sure that you have that information if you don't ask questions. So yeah, without further ado, then we'll get started. I'll pass it over to Saron to introduce Nikki.
So I'll be introducing our wonderful speaker, Mickey, who is from our DMV area. Mickey is a cryptocurrency advocate with interest in product development, design, and the startup ecosystem. He's been involved in the crypto space since 2017. After studying abroad and seeing Bitcoin ATMs frequently, he came home curious to learn more. Since then, he's attended over 15 conferences, started a blockchain club at his university, and worked for a few crypto startups. Thank you, Mickey. I will pass it along to you to get us started.
Thank you guys for bringing me here today for our second crypto session. Today we'll be covering NFTs, and I'm super excited to kind of shed light into how we can use NFTs and crypto to kind of advocate for our people. So to start off, what are NFTs? So NFTs are non-fungible tokens that are unique digital items within blockchain managed ownership databases. So examples are collectibles, game items, digital art, event tickets, domain names, and even ownership records for physical assets. So to simplify that, NFTs are what people know NFTs to be are digital art, but it is far beyond just digital art because it can be included into, like I mentioned, event tickets, also in-game items, and also physical assets, receipts for physical assets. So before kind of taking a deep dive to what NFTs are, I feel that I have to explain what fungible and non-fungible assets are. So to kind of give a brief explanation, the dollar is a fungible asset. Reason being is that a dollar printed in 1980 has the same value as a dollar printed in 2006. It is fungible here in the US, which means basically anywhere in America, they will accept the dollar in cash or coins. And also, other countries as well will also accept the dollar, but you need to exchange it for their currency. Therefore, no matter where in the world you are, cash is a fungible asset. Similar to if you are a fan of Chipotle and you've collected reward points for Chipotle, you can redeem those points for a burrito, a bag of chips, or whatever, but you can only redeem that within Chipotle. You can't go to Cava or a different restaurant to redeem Chipotle points because it doesn't work like that. So therefore, anything that is very specific and redeemable within a specific region or a brand, there are fungible assets. Fungible within a class, which is semi-fungible, is an example would be like movie tickets. If I have sort of subscription to AMC, I can redeem my, my tickets at AMC movie theaters, but I can't use my AMC movie theaters at Regal Cinema or etc. Same thing with clothing. If I'm at Macy's shopping and I'm buying Ralph Lauren polo clothing, uh, but I want to return it, I can't return it to the outlet at Ralph Lauren. I have to return it to Macy's to get my money back. So in that sense, those items are fungible within a class versus fungible anywhere in the world, like money. So to kind of transition to what non-fungible means, non-fungible doesn't necessarily mean it has to be a digital asset. For an example, the Mona Lisa, which is a one-for-one art piece, which is right now sitting in Paris in the Louvre Museum. Everybody knows that there's only one version of that art piece, and it cannot be duplicated and or recreated because all the experts have aged it. It was made at this time. There are receipts kind of emphasizing the authenticity of that art piece. So in that same sense, what non-fungible NFTs are verifiable pieces of information that are attached to some sort of item. That item could be a digital asset, like a digital piece of work, or it could be like a ticket for entrance to a Wizards game or something in that sense. The reason why it's non-fungible is because even though there might be multiple versions of one non-fungible asset, the price of that asset is determined by the market, not necessarily the ecosystem. So for an example, $1 is $1. That can't change. The Federal Reserve cannot make every dollar note 90 cents because it's a dollar. That's what it is. But an NFT creator can change the price of their NFT depending on, if they want to increase the price or lower the price to have more and more people purchase it. To go on to the next slide, I'm going to cover some more of the technical aspects of NFTs. So traditional digital assets such as event tickets and domain names don't have a unified representation in the digital world. Similar to like video games, in-game collectibles are centralized, similar to like Fortnite. You can buy guns and skins from Fortnite, but you can't transfer your Fortnite guns into like Call of Duty because it's centralized to that specific game. So by representing digital assets in the non-fungible way, you can transfer asset values varying different platforms. To kind of give it deeper technical analysis, all different cryptocurrencies are most likely, if they're built on the Ethereum network, they are ERC20 standard, and ERC20 represents basically a fungible token. So Ethereum, the token, right now it's worth like $2,300. No matter what exchange you go to, all the price of Ethereum are the same relatively everywhere. ERC 721 is the standard for NFTs, which basically describe that the price of the NFT is depending on the market and the creator of that NFT. So they can change the price up and down depending on what they want it to be. And ERC 1155 is a hybrid between ERC 20 and ERC 721. So it's a non-fungible asset, but it also has features of a fungibility. These other standards that are listed below are the internet standards and the content standards, which are basically file formats. So like JPEG and PNG are standards for digital images, and then also HTML, CSS are what we build front end websites on. So the reason why I'm mentioning this is because on top of the internet and what already exists in the digital world, what blockchain is allowing is to kind of create a decentralized database for all these things that we're already using, such as our images, pictures that we take, and even data that we store on our day-to-day life. So here's some examples of some NFT projects. From the left side, you see a monkey that is kind of like dripping in different colors. More or less what this is it's a cake ape Yacht Club NFT. What this is, it's a derivative off of a different NFT called the Bored Ape Yacht Club, and that's more of a well-known NFT project. You probably have seen famous artists like Lil Baby, Future, or even Steph Curry turn their profile pictures on social media into these monkeys. Early last year, these NFTs kind of became very famous because a lot of influencers in the crypto space started buying them and turning them to their profile pictures, similar to CryptoPunks and CryptoKitties. So people have created their own versions of other NFTs to kind of catch on to the hype. Right in the middle, you see NBA Top Shot. NBA Top Shot is a partnership between Dapper Labs and the NBA, where they created NFTs as highlights for current NBA players. So right now, if you go on the NBA Top Shot website, you will see a series of NFTs that you can buy. Some of them will be some of your favorite players, and you basically are watching a highlight tape of 10 to 20 seconds of LeBron James shooting a three-pointer, or him like blocking someone, or Steph Curry shooting a game-winning shot. Depending on the market, the prices of these NFTs go up and down. And also, like, if you purchase a Steph Curry NFT, the price of that is going to be a lot higher than somebody else. So there's kind of that rarity aspect. Further to the right is Famous Punks, which is an NFT project turning celebrities into punks. And these are 8x8 images that are handmade by an artist, and they want to collaborate directly with the NFT, the artist that is depicted in the image. Lastly, you see the cats at the bottom right. They're called CryptoKitties. They're one of the earliest NFT projects, dropped in 2017. Have also done really successful within the past couple years. So here's an example of an OpenSea profile for art collection. So right here is Logan Paul's digital collectible store. He dropped this piece. He dropped almost 700 different NFTs of this exact image. When he released it, the price was 1 ETH, and he sold out within a couple of hours. The reason why he was able to sell out was because obviously he has a huge following on YouTube and social media in general. He was able to kind of get his fans aware of his release. Since he's also a collector of Pokemon cards and things like that, he thought it would be cool to kind of make his own version of a Pokemon card. Essentially, each one sold between the price of 1 ETH to, as you see at the bottom right corner, the price dropped down to 0.6. But regardless, due to his celebrity status, he was able to kind of draw in, over over $100,000 in a couple of hours from dropping an NFT project. So as I'm referring to that, I'm going to transition and talking to you guys about the metaverse. So as you guys have noticed that Facebook and a lot of different major tech companies like Microsoft have been in conversations on developing and building in the metaverse. So when people are referring to the metaverse, they're referring to the digital world that exists, whether it's an AR or VR, augmented reality and virtual reality. But this is nothing new to us, as in like people that are in the tech space. Reason being is the metaverse already exists within games, such as GTA, Sims, Roblox, Fortnite, etc. The only difference is that those games have centralized platforms. More or less, if I'm playing in GTA or I'm playing in Fortnite or Roblox, everything that I'm doing within the game stays within the game. Hence, the clothes that I'm buying, the shoes, the cars, the house, whatever I'm building, I cannot extract that and take it out or resell it into a third-party marketplace. What the metaverse offers in the crypto space is platforms such as Decentraland, which is the image that you see here. It's a digital world similar to other platforms like Sandbox, etc., where you are able to, build a character, buy land, own property, and also interact with people online. So not only are you building and purchasing and like kind of displaying your own space within the world, you're also interacting with other people people host digital conferences. Like during COVID, Decentraland really blew up because since there was no spaces that were open for because of COVID purposes, people were able to use Decentraland to host conferences, workshops, and other net platforms because one, you're able to use audio so you can communicate with people, and then also you're able to display anything within the world. So as in, we can have an art gallery within Decentraland, or we can be having the Zoom call in Decentraland and connect, gather everybody into one space, and then have the Zoom call streamed live onto a bigger screen within the digital world. So to kind of add to this, actually a connection of mine, his name is Gabriel Abed, who's the ambassador of Barbados to the UAE. He helped establish a digital embassy for Barbados in the metaverse. So in Decentraland, there's an actual digital embassy for Barbados. And, he mentions that it's a small thing, but the big thing is what governments can do together when land is no longer physical and the limitations are no longer part of the equation. So I'm bringing this to you guys' attention because as we are dealing with the struggle with what's going on back home, our people can still come together and find spaces where we are allowing our ideas and also how we can help rebuild Tigray in general can become not just in the physical space, but also in the digital space to get more people aware, but then also more people to participate in helping us in general. So a little bit of information, back to some technical aspects. Obviously, there are many, many different types of blockchains. So what is most well known and what people know mostly, obviously outside of Bitcoin, is Ethereum, because about 80% of all different cryptocurrencies are built on the Ethereum blockchain. So already covered the ERC 721 and the 1155 as being the standards for NFTs in the Ethereum ecosystem. But there are other different NFT standards that provide other use cases that I can mention later on. And the main wallet that we use for Ethereum is MetaMask, but there's also other wallets as well. EOS is a different blockchain, and their standard is called DGoods, with their wallet as known as Wax. And Tezos, their standard is called TZIP 12, and their wallet that is used is called Thanos. And basically very similar to Ethereum and EOS, different blockchains have different purposes, but all these three different chains have the opportunity for people to create NFTs. So potential use case, here's an example of NFTs that I created for Rap Snacks. Rap Snacks is the largest Black-owned snack company in the U.S. They have partnerships with Lil Baby, Rick Ross, Migos, and other well-known rappers. And what they do is they turn, they're a snack brand, but they have the rappers depicted in the front of each of the, basically they have the rappers on the bags of chips to kind of promote and, to cross promo whenever a rapper is dropping an album or something like that, they'll release a bag. So my idea to them, which I actually provided this content to, was, turn, a scannable QR code or a physical card that someone can open and, receive within a bag, creating a Willy Wonka effect for collecting NFTs. So you can imagine, I walk into 7-Eleven, open a bag of chips, and I could potentially win a $50,000 NFT, and that can create some sort of stimulus. So outside of brands like Rap Snacks that are in the snack industry, other companies have done that, such as Nike, who just purchased Artifact, which is an NFT project, which they plan on releasing exclusive shoes. And if you don't have one of their NFTs, then you can't even join their collection and things like that. So there are limitations to where brands are using NFTs to kind of create a micro community within what they already have. So I'm going to discuss collection drops. So outside of artists being able to individually create one NFT at a time, as in basically uploading an image to their OpenSea, collection drops are basically a drop of NFTs that are limited by supply, and they are created and minted at random. So I'm going to kind of further go into this. This right here is another image of a caked ape. And the total supply of all these NFTs was 8,888. The network is Ethereum, and the initial listing price was 0.069 ETH, and it launched, a little a little more than 10 days ago, almost 2 weeks. So when I purchased this NFT, the price was 0.26. So, the price, doubled, if not almost tripled. Um, the downside, the downside of collection drops is, one thing is you don't know what you're minting, and I kind of go over that in the next screen. So collection drops are very attractive to collectors because they're all released in a minting ceremony, and all the images are hidden from the collectors, making the initial purchase completely random. Once once released, all the NFTs that were minted, aka purchased, will be exposed and released. This kind of creates like a lottery system for collectors because they have the chance to receive like an exclusive super rare NFT. And once the collection is released or they sell out, all the NFTs will be able to be purchased on OpenSea or another exchange that collectors can resell on. So, like I had mentioned, when I purchased the NFT for, Caked Apes, I bought it after the release. So, I wasn't able to buy it for a cheaper price, but I was able to choose exactly which one I wanted. So there's kind of like I mentioned, like a lottery effect, to a lottery system for these NFTs. So a lot of people, one, are incentivized to get in early, as in basically join the team on Discord, Telegram, for exclusive information to allow people to get on a whitelist. And a whitelist is you getting like VIP access to the NFT. You can buy it for that the initial release price versus waiting for it to drop on OpenSea. So to kind of go further, I'll give you an example of an NFT project that has, done really successful within the past year. So World of Women is an NFT project released in July of last year by a group of women in the crypto space to provide exposure to women working in in the NFT space. So after this project released, social media influencers such as Gary Vee promoted the project, which has brought thousands of collectors' attention and raising the price to what now is 7 ETH. So when the project initially listed, all the NFTs were priced at 0.17. Now it's at 7 ETH flat. Some of them have sold for 20 ETH, but the lowest tiered price right now for one of their NFTs is 7 ETH. So you kind of question, how did this NFT project get some notoriety and get well known? Is because not only did Gary Vee promote it, he also took the opportunity to get the founders to come speak at his conference, and also gave them the opportunity to go on Twitter Spaces or even on Clubhouse Live with him to kind of promote and basically grow their network. A lot of times, to grow these NFT projects' attention is all on social media. So Clubhouse and Twitter Spaces is the main space where NFT projects are promoted and marketed. And essentially, since these are live conversations, a lot of people are able to just go directly and click on your OpenSea page, click on your social media platforms, and kind of follow you and kind of hear the story as it kind of grows. So what makes these NFTs rare are the character traits. So traits for NFTs determine the rarity, and these traits range from hair, clothing, background, eye color, etc. And the trait combinations is what allows there to be 1,000 to 10,000 different NFTs for each of the collection. So when you think about it, you got to ask yourself, like, wait, is there an artist really making 10,000 different NFTs? No. But what they are doing is they are designing the character traits for each possible NFT. So what that means is if we were to create a collection, we can have 5 different hair types, 4 different eye colors, 10 different skin tones, 2 different like male or female, and then and basically kind of do these combinations of put all these different designs, put that into a smart contract, and the developers take all these designs and form it within a smart contract that will randomize all possible outcomes. So that's why in the smart contract, they are limiting whether it's 500, 1,000, 10,000, or even more based on the character trait combinations that you have. And the fewer, like for an example, in this image that you see, the girl is blowing bubblegum. If there's only one image that has someone blowing bubblegum, that means that this specific NFT is going to be super rare because 10,000 of them don't, but this one does. So that's how they range. And there's like a charting score that is given. And I will touch on how to buy the NFTs very briefly to kind of give you guys an understanding of like how to navigate. So no matter what you use, whether you're using Safari, Chrome, Firefox, etc., any browser, you can download MetaMask directly to your browser. So you go on the Google Store and you just Google MetaMask, and then you do a direct download onto your laptop, or you can do a direct download to your iPhone or Android device. Once you create a wallet, you're gonna have to put money into your wallet, and you're gonna transfer that whether you buy Ethereum on Coinbase or Gemini. Once you purchase it, you can send that to your wallet, which is found right here. After you send money into your wallet, then you can go ahead onto OpenSea and basically log in. The difference between other social media platforms that we're used to, like Facebook, Instagram, etc., when you're creating an account, they ask you for your information, like your name, your email, etc. But in the crypto space, you don't need none of that. It's all decentralized. All you need is, more or less money. Your digital identity is not attached to your real identity. Just like how on Facebook you can make a fake account for whatever. Here, there's no need for that because all of this is decentralized in general, and you don't have to attach your identity to your wallet. But the benefit is every time you go onto a website that anytime you go into a website that allows you to more or less buy NFTs or anything like that, you basically can open your wallet via the website and not have to create a new account for OpenSea, Rarible, etc. So that's the benefit of the crypto space in that aspect. So once you have your money on your MetaMask, you can, basically click this button, you connect your wallet, and then you're able to purchase basically anything. Right here, this is the screenshot of the Tigray Art Collective NFT page. And we'll kind of go further into that in a little bit. So now we have Mahadi to kind of give us a brief description on what Tigray Art Collective is, how we got started, and more or less what we plan on doing moving forward.
Hey guys, I'm not sure if you guys can see me. For some reason my camera's not working. That's sad. But yeah, so thanks Nikki for an amazing presentation. I'm really excited to share with you all Tigray Art Collectives. For those of you that don't know, my name is Mahadir Tella, and I go by Madi Lima on social media. I'm one of the founders and artists of Tigray Art Collectives. Gabrielle Tesfaye, who's an amazing artist and animator, is also a founder and one of the artists who have contributed to her art to our collective. She's featured on BBC, so we'll get to that in a little bit. We'll be able to share where you can find her interview. And of course, you all know Mickey, who just gave this very informative presentation on NFTs. So together, we have come to create Tigray Art Collectives with the mission to bring artists together across all art disciplines and to share our stories in art and truth about what's happening to our people back home in Tigray, but also for to tell the stories of the refugees who are in neighboring countries. So essentially, we want to take our advocacy to new heights through our art. By bringing Tegaru artists together, we want to reach a wider demographic in order to amplify the awareness and, amplify the awareness as well as inspire healing within our community, as well as innovate creativity. So right here, what Miki is showing us is Gabrielle's interview that she did with BBC, and she goes into telling her story as to why she's doing art and how this war has inspired her to create and amplify her experience, as well as the experiences of those back home that are directly being affected by the war. So so we want to take this, take our organization, take our art collectives, and essentially we've recently just launched our website, tigrayartcollectives.org, as well as our NFT out in OpenSea. So with OpenSea as well as future events, you'll see when you see our page. I don't know, Mickey, if you can access to our website, maybe we can let people kind of have a sneak peek into that. But essentially, we want to take our art and we're donating it to our organization. And by doing so, we're hoping to raise money, and this money will go directly to organizations that are within our community that are directly helping the people back home in Tigray and refugees in neighboring countries. So we are planning as a collective to host a variety of projects that include but are not limited to exhibition, protest art, fundraisers, multimedia, art, and many more things. So we're looking to grow our directory and grow our team as we are opening it up, and we want to invite artists on this call that are interested. If you have friends that are artists that you think would be interested, we really encourage you guys to share this, share Tigray Art Collectives with them, follow us on Twitter, on Instagram, visit our page, visit our OpenSea, and really amplify this page, as we're really trying to use our art to amplify and bring awareness and widen our demographic. Because as many of you know on this call, it feels like sometimes we're in an echo chamber, and we want to break out of that. And we truly believe we can do that through art. So I invite you all to join us, invite your friends, invite your families. And we also encourage you not to only just keep this within our Tegaru community, share this with your non-Tegaru friends and family members. So I'm really excited. There's a lot that we have in store for us and for our community. So that's all I got to say. Mickey, if you have anything that you feel like I might have left out, please feel free to jump in and fill in those gaps. But take our collectives. I'm really excited.
Thank you, Madi. And everybody, please give us a follow. And essentially, like, one thing I kind of like to leave a message with you guys before we go into Q&A is essentially the crypto community is very, very empathetic to situations like what we're facing. A lot of times, to just kind of be very blunt with you, the crypto community is not as diverse as you would want it to be. Hence, majority are white and or Asian, because of just in general, like, that's just how things are in our society here or all over the world. But Africa in general has become such a hub for blockchain innovation and tech. And there are other people willing to not only hear our story, but also put us on to, whether it maximizing our exposure on podcasts, in interviews or things like that. But outside of us kind of like, being in an echo chamber and kind of repeating the same story over and over again, we really have the opportunity to like come together to use this technology, not only to just raise funds and awareness, but also exposing this to the greater community beyond just tech. What we really need is major influencers and established personalities to kind of take on our story and maximize it. Very similar to what had happened in the 80s with the We Are the World movement, where funds were raised for a famine that was enacted in Ethiopia in the same very similar situation. we have to kind of gravitate towards making noise in that sense rather than continuously like bickering with Ethiopians on social media that are basically supporting the government, that are not willing to kind of hear what is going on, which is atrocities that are being a humanitarian crisis at the fullest extent. So we have to start navigating to not just only fundraise within our community, but also other communities such as the fine arts community, the tech community, blockchain specifically, art and NFTs and things like that. So we have to start thinking outside the box and start hosting events and welcoming people that don't look like us, because one, they're more empathetic because they're not attached to this conflict, right? A lot of times when I spoke to people at the Bitcoin conference in Miami, they were astonished, shocked, and very saddened by the situation. So we need to kind of navigate our message in a more welcoming, but then also in an alarming way. And this is one way we can do that by providing and creating as much exposure as possible. So whenever you see us tweet or post something on social media, please be there to support, share, and kind of help us make as much noise as possible for this art collective. And with that, we open the room for Q&A.
For sure. Thank you so much, Madi and Nikki, for that intro to Tigray Art Collectives and just sort of like this message of like the importance of how we think outside the box in our activism. It's been a year and a half at this point, so I think this is a really important point for us to start doing that. So just to like fully understand connecting like this NFT presentation to Tigray Art Collectives, we'll be selling this NFT art, one partially for exposure to this new community of investors and folks in crypto, but also it sounds like the funds that are made from selling these pieces are going to go towards Tigray relief, like organizations within our community. Do I have that right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So our full intention is to support and distribute funds amongst a couple nonprofits that have been very active, similar to TDA is one that most people in our community are very familiar with, and alongside other nonprofits that have been started, whether either it was last year or the year before, as this conflict began.
Great. Okay, then I think we can move into Q&A. That we already have some questions in the chat, but please, like as we go on, if you guys have questions that come up or questions that you even thought of earlier, feel free to add them into the chat now, and we'll get to them. So first, we have Becky, who asked, do you see NFTs having a similar trajectory to Bitcoin? People didn't participate in Bitcoin early on because they didn't understand it, or they couldn't envision it being used in everyday life. I see a similar pattern now with people making fun of NFTs. Rahawa started answering. She said it's sort of an apples to oranges comparison, as people would engage with Bitcoin and NFTs for different reasons. All tech has different learning curves, and each technology has an early adopter persona. In my opinion, NFTs are an easier sell to mainstream than Bitcoin because it's tokenizing assets and processes that already primarily exist in traditional finance. Bitcoin was a much more drastic change to TradeFi, hence its adoption curve. And in my opinion, in Rafa's opinion, NFTs will permeate most consumer-facing businesses within the next 2 decades and will be widely adopted. Do you have anything to add to that, Miki?
Yeah, the really interesting thing about NFTs is that, for an example, we in society already use things that are very similar to NFTs already. Like I had mentioned, collectible cards, Pokemon cards, baseball cards, etc. Those are very similar to NFTs because not only do they have like a set supply of these collectible cards that are rare, right? They also have different release dates. So for an example, I'm saying this just to say it, but for an example, Pokemon cards, Charizard is a very rare and collectible card. Why? Because there's only a certain amount that were made. How come? Because they made different editions of the same type of card over the last 20, 25 something years. So each edition is rare than the previous one. Obviously, people have made counterfeit cards, etc., but they're always verifiable. So in the same sense, NFTs in the art world have a purpose in allowing people to sell and solicit art, etc., right? That can be verified and authenticated. Cool. Now, what about your degree, right? Your degree in itself is also, in theory, an NFT. One, why? Because you can't sell your degree because it has your name on it. That's not of value to someone else, because that doesn't mean they earned it. They just have a piece of paper that says, your name on it, right? But from a data tracking point, right, NFTs that don't have a value, right, have a value of showing a digital receipt. So for an example, if I'm interviewing for a job and the job, the person that's trying to offer me a job, if I had my degree digitized and made it into an NFT, they can verify that's real, that I actually went to that university because it came directly from them and they have authenticated it, versus calling up the school, not hearing an answer, sending inquiries, et cetera, which creates paper trails and confusion, right? That's why a lot of people can fake through saying I went to this university and got this degree, and et cetera, et cetera. So I'm giving you small examples of how NFTs can be used beyond just the art space. Same thing for in the music industry, artists can receive royalty payments directly from the music distribution platform that they're using, versus having their record label managing their assets, telling them what kind of returns that they're receiving, and that record label is providing them funding to make music videos, etc., but they own 70% of their streaming royalties, and then they also own 80% of their masters, which is the actual content of the music, the lyrics, the production, etc. So like in many different ways, industries that have more or less hindered people to get 100% ownership of what they own and what they have created, NFTs is basically like chipping at all those industries with potentially either they're going to comply and make everything transparent, or they're going to crumble and fall and fail. Like, for an example, Kodak didn't want to get into digital film. What happened to them? They failed as a business because they refused to comply with with technology. Yeah, we can go on to the next question now.
All right, thank you. So the next question is from Aiden. She asked, what are the best apps or websites to start buying or selling NFTs? Are some more reliable than others? Are there common scams that we should be aware of for beginners? Rahwa said it depends on the type of blockchain you want to buy an NFT on and the NFT type. She said Ethereum or Tezos, music or photo, in my opinion, OpenSea and Zora are most user-friendly for beginners.
Absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree with Rahwa's comments. OpenSea has the largest volume, meaning basically they have the most amount of trades happening on their platform. But other platforms such as Rarible, which is also built on the Ethereum blockchain, not only does it allow you to distribute and sell your artwork on there, you can change the amount of royalty earnings that you can receive for that NFT. So OpenSea, the resale value that you earn is 10%. So after, for an example, we have for the Tigray Art Collective, we have 7 pieces out on OpenSea. After those 7 pieces sell, right? Every time that piece resells, 10% of that resale money will go back to the Tigray Art Collective indefinitely. So that will happen for the lifetime of the art piece, right? But on Rarible, they allow you to change that from 10% to up to 50%. The only difference is obviously if I'm an art collector and I know that I'm only going to earn 50% of this resale price, it may not be as attractive to that collector. But in our situation, if we, explain the story properly, people are going to want to donate knowing that 50% is going to continuously go back into this foundation for the life cycle of the NFT. Other blockchains provide cheaper fees to like create your NFT and then also to buy NFTs. So Ethereum has really high gas fees. So sometimes to make a simple transaction, you might spend more money on the gas fee than the NFT in itself. So people are, be a little mindful of what you buy and what you what you spend, because depending on the volatility of the market, right now we're in it, the market has turned red. So gas fees tend to be a lot higher because people are making a lot of transactions trying to sell, their assets. So Tezos and Wax NFTs are a little cheaper when it comes to gas prices, but they don't have as much exposure as the Ethereum network because a lot of people are using Ethereum for NFTs.
Can I ask also, like, so you just mentioned that they're the pieces that are already out as NFTs. How are they doing, and are there ways that we can help promote them?
Yeah. So with the NFTs that we have up right now, that's what you're referring to, right? Yeah. So we can promote them on going on Clubhouse and Twitter Spaces and kind of creating rooms or collaborating with other rooms that already exist specifically for NFTs. Sometimes, Rawa, they're on OpenSea, and I can share that link on the website. The website has the link to answer your question quickly. Basically, right now, none of them have sold because, we're just getting started. We launched them just last week during the conference. What we want to do is collaborate with people that already host NFT rooms and basically kind of tell the story, get people, more people aware about what's going on, get the message across. And a lot of this is storytelling. Kind of building a community is all about storytelling. And the real question is like, why should the crypto community care about, what's going on in Tigray? The reason being is because with enough exposure, right, not necessarily just money, but with the right people and the right influencers, we could get this message across to create, push the national movement, the international movement into the hands of people that are not from Tigray, and making it this community based off of empathy and, the urge to help this humanitarian crisis. All in all, what we have to do is actively be in these rooms, making people more aware, deflecting the noise and the nonsense that people are going to obviously say, because, like as this is happening, obviously there are other Ethiopians that don't agree that this is happening, or do they believe it, and, they have everybody's opinions. What we have to do is gravitate towards people that don't have opinions about what's going on and kind of help them understand not necessarily the narrative, but the actuality of what's happening and how we can use this technology and this artwork to kind of benefit all our people in general. So it's going to take a lot of social media advocacy beyond posting stuff on Twitter and on Instagram, but it's going to take us joining these rooms.
I
think
think we lost him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But
think we lost him.
what he was saying was we wanted to use these rooms such as like Twitter. I think it's like Twitter has a chat place, like space where very similar to Clubhouse. So the best way for us to get this around is word of mouth. So essentially, I think what Mickey was trying to get to is we really want the help of our community to amplify this platform, as this is a space for all Tegaru and our allies to share our stories. So yeah, we're essentially just looking for the support and for artists that are interested to joining us. And yeah, I guess his connection got cut out. In joining us and you know, expressing that art and you know, at the same time, simultaneously sharing the message as to what it is that we're already doing. You know, why are we selling? Why are we amplifying art? What's the importance of art? And widening that demographic. Yeah. There you go, Mickey.
Yeah.
You guys hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay, so yeah, I think Mahdi kind of finished answering the question. Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. Like, art is such a compelling way to get our message across and help people understand what's going on and the impact it has on our community. So Mahdi and Rahwa both shared the links to the NFTs. So I think it's important that all of us like share them on social media and get them out to people, especially folks that we know are interested in crypto and NFTs. I'm gonna ask this question. This question was just asked, but I'm gonna ask it now because it's sort of relevant to what we're talking about. So someone asked, what was the process in deciding the initial price for the projects on Tigray Art Collective? I noticed some are 3 ETH and some are 1.
That decision was more of like an experiment to kind of find out like, all right, I'm going to a major event. There might be, you know, some major players, which, you know, there always is very well-known famous people in the crypto space at these conferences. And I wanted to see if anybody that I met on firsthand, you know, first face value would be interested in donating one whole ETH in the moment. And I think a lot of the advice that I got at the conference was, hey, like this is great, but you're gonna have to kind of like release some NFTs that are a little bit more affordable, and then you know the market value would increase in price. What they were kind of referring to was basically creating like a collection drop similar to the other NFTs that I showed you, like the World of Women NFTs that, you know, they released like 10,000 of them, you know, multiple different characters. Initially, the price value was at 0.17, and obviously right now it's at 7 ETH. And what the reason why someone mentioned, hey, maybe you should do something similar to that is because two things. That whole process, that life cycle, that roadmap takes time, and that is where you can build a community around it. Unfortunately for us, we already have a community of people that are willing to share, repost, tweet already. So that's, you know, a benefit that we have 40 to 50,000 people sitting on social media ready, right? Now what we have to do is we have to educate those people to not only understand, you know, what we're doing, but then once we release, you know, a more affordable NFTs and like some sort of a drop, then they're able to buy it as well, right? And the biggest benefit of all this is when you are releasing something like, you know, a 1,000 or a 10,000 piece drop, you can advocate consistently for, you know, growing the community, growing a Discord chat, Telegram, whatever, you know, we end up choosing. But it kind of adds to the story and the momentum, as in, you know, we're collecting art pieces from different artists from all around the world and taking those art pieces and turning some of those character traits from that, whether it's the eyes, the ears, the hair, and things like that, and kind of shifting that into creating, you know, a large release kind of is what the advice that I was getting. But just due to the fact that it would be easier to kind of make something more affordable and kind of gradually grow to kind of, you know, the prices of it would increase versus just listing it at 1 ETH. So again, the reason why, you know, I did that is just to see, one, would anybody willing to, you know, donate 1 ETH just off of like hearing the story and kind of understanding what it is.
Thank you. So Amaniel asked, is it common for collection drops or arts to be based on a big fan base on Discord, Instagram, etc., to sell their works?
Yeah, that's exactly how, you know, people are promoting their projects is, you know, they get everybody hyped up on social media. And then, you know, if you join a Discord group before a certain date, you'll get on their VIP list. And that allows you to get early access into the NFTs. And then from there on, you bought it at 0.005 and then the listing price is 0.5. So then you just 10x on NFT, knowing that it's going to be more and more collectible. The other thing that I like to mention is kind of similar to like how a lot of people have changed in different movements. For ours, a lot of us changed our profile pictures to yellow or red and yellow, reflecting on what's going on in Tigray. During Black Lives Matter, a lot of people changed their profile pics to just being Black to kind of solidify that they're standing with the Black Lives Matter movement. Same thing with SARS when that was happening in Nigeria, right? A lot of people changed their profile pictures. In the NFT space, people change their profile pictures to the NFTs that they own, right? So just like I mentioned earlier, like Little Baby, Gunna, Future, Steph Curry, and a whole bunch of other athletes have turned their profile pictures into either CryptoPunk, a Bored Ape Yacht Club, or even a World of Women NFT. Moving into kind of creating like drops like that can be collected amongst a lot of people versus just creating a drop of just 20 pieces allows you more exposure, because then people are gonna be like, oh, I want this one, or I want 5, I want 6 of them, and they're gonna collect them and then resell them when they release. These are things that we take into consideration, because when you are allowing people to provide, when you have like 1,000, 10,000 types of NFTs, you're giving people more room to buy into it, have multiple, and kind of sell that story. Also changing their profile picture to kind of maximize the movement in general.
Great. Binyam asked, is the value of a piece adjusted for daily fluctuations in ETH value, or is the value of a piece dependent not on its own value, but on ETH? Rahwa said that for major ETH NFT platforms, for example, OpenSea, the price for the NFT is set and denominated in ETH. It does not adjust in real time based on USD value. Do you have anything you want to add to that?
No, that was a great response.
Okay, great. And then, and it looks like Rahwa shared some tips for minting successful NFTs. And then the last question we have listed, I think, is from Aiden. She asked, how common are the conferences you attend? Like, for example, the one where you shared the Tigray NFTs. Do you plan on attending a lot more this year? That's a great question. I feel like every time I talk to Mickey, he's either in the middle of a conference or just came back from a conference or something. So how often are the conferences?
Honestly, they're depending on specifically, like if it's just related to NFTs or just in general, like a crypto or blockchain based conference, there's at least 1 or 2 every month of the year. Obviously, I don't participate in every one. I just participate in the ones that I have direct connections to, close ties, and or I have attended their conference previously. So my goal moving forward is to attend major conferences, and I'll ask them to basically allow us to present and solicit our NFTs there. Honestly, these conferences are more or less going to be really expensive. Like the tickets to get in are, anytime. Basically, anytime there's a conference happening, tickets are ranging between $500 to $1,500, et cetera, et cetera. So I have a couple of loopholes that I've used to my benefit to kind of like navigate through conferences. So what I always do is I volunteer. I volunteer because not only do you get a free ticket, you also get to meet the team, the production team, and everybody organizing it. From there is where I kind of navigate and present the question of, hey, I volunteered with you previously, I've done this, this, and this, but I'm leading this NFT project. And then that's where I kind of insert the story, what's going on in Tigray, how these NFTs can help out. And 9 times out of 10, most people are very, very empathetic about what's going on. And not only that, they can go Google Ethiopia, and that's the first thing that pops up. So like, it is very unavoidable. And that, fortunately, that gives us, not only just digital receipts, that gives people the leeway to, I want to help you out. So my goal is for the next couple of conferences that are coming, I want to basically say, hey, can we have a booth? And, and that's what I did basically at this previous conference, because I've worked with them previously. I have a personal relationship with them, and they're more than happy to have the NFTs listed. Rawa just asked if anyone's going to ETH Denver. I'm actually really interested in going to ETH Denver because one, there's a big Tegaru community in Denver. Two, basically it's like Denver is a huge hub for crypto in general, and the different conferences have different reasons why they're about. Some of them are for promotion campaigns for startups, and big speakers come in to kind of draw the attention of the people. But ETH Denver and the Ethereum based conferences are a lot heavy focus on developing and building communities. So Rawa says sometimes if you write a letter requesting sponsorship for a ticket, they'll give you one at a discount or for free. They want more people with diverse backgrounds at these because they tend to have an echo chamber of same attendees. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that is 100% true. I'll reach out to the ETH Denver people and kind of explain what's going on and see if we can either have some sort of participation or even just go there to hand out flyers and kind of tell the story. Because outside of me having the NFTs listed at the conference in Miami, I had flyers. I was walking around and introducing what's going on to different influencers and people that I knew or, that I met. So that's a really good idea, Rawa.
Yeah, I think there are a couple people from Denver on this call too. So this could be something for them to flag. And if you have connections to people at that conference, Mickey, like you could maybe talk to some Tegaru who are on this call and are interested in attending.
Yeah, definitely. I was gonna say I can just give my information out in the channel, my social media info or my number directly. I'll do both, just so if anybody's interested in the Denver area specifically, like if you are interested in kind of participating, attending, that would be awesome.
Yeah, it looks like Jerusalem is, so you guys can connect. I think those are all the questions we have for now. Nikki just shared his number. So yeah, this was our second session in our series. Thank you so much to all of you for attending. Thank you so much, Nikki, as always, and Madi for speaking. Rahwa wants to make a comment. And thank you also, Rahwa, for answering questions in the chat and sharing your expertise.
Of course, thank you guys for putting this together. So the first thing that comes to mind, like I think there is potentially a missed opportunity here that we could be capitalizing on, right, to really amplify the reach of this campaign. And that's just really harvesting the power of storytelling, right? Because Tigray has such a rich history, but in the current, promotional material we're pushing out right now, none of that is captured. And to really make people, care, they need to understand what is the significance of Tigray, right? Not just to us, of course, because we already know, but to the wider community, which we're trying to engage, right? A lot of the crypto community, to be frank, they really don't care outside of what's happening within their own world, right? Or anything that's outside of what's their own potential gains, but they are, social and historical buffs, right? Like they want to feel like they have their hands on something that's significant. And I just think there's an opportunity for us to be telling our story, right? And having people understand who we are, engage with us to really build a more emotional connection that has more longevity, right? And the last mile ask is sort of building this awareness around what's going on in Tigray right now. And then, funds from these NFTs are going towards A, B, and C causes. I just think there's a lot more stuff that we can be including to pack a bigger punch.
No, that's a really good point. And thank you, Rawa, for kind of making that comment. Do you have any suggestions on how we can amplify the story? Maybe including it, for an example, Gabriella does a good job in highlighting like different spaces in Tigray, churches, and or like artifacts in general in her artwork. How can we kind of further push the story and the narrative outside of, like you saying, outside of the atrocities that are occurring now? How can we add that historical element into the picture?
Yeah, in terms of like how this translates to the NFT space, I think, you know, a group that's done a fantastic job. I don't know if you guys are familiar, it's like Yatra, you know, that are Ethiopia, like Addis based, and they push a lot of NFTs that capture, you know, like Ethiopian history. A lot of their stuff also touches on like Tigray, right? None of those proceeds are going towards Tigray, but the way they captured that was actually done so beautifully, and it captured the wider crypto audience, right? And so when people in crypto in the NFT space think about Ethiopia, they think about the work of Yachera, right? Because of that cultural component. In terms of what, you know, the Tigray Collective could do specifically, stories, you can tell stories. You can always tell when a story is written by someone within that group versus when it's told by someone outside of that group, right? Just like with the language and the positioning of it. I think we should be including more of like our elders in helping us frame that story. And then in terms of how we package that into a piece of art, if you want to take the geography angle, right, like you could show a before and after potentially, right? So here is a statue of, you know, our martyrs, right, on X date, and here is why it was erected, right? And then on X date, it was taken down due to, you know, this event that happened, right? So sort of like a contrasting of events could be powerful if you want to do the geography lens of it. In terms of like, how do we do that with the current pieces we have out yet? I don't know. I need to like look a little bit deeper into what's currently circulating, right? But I think there's an opportunity to be a bit more creative, and it's just about, at the core of NFTs, right? It's about building community, right? So there needs to be consistency, right? So if you're creating a historical timeline about all these events that happen in Tigray or like regions, right? You can kind of, in an odd way, sort of gamify it, right? Or have people feel like they have a piece in something that cohesively can work together.
Great. No, that's awesome. I also looked at the article that you put into the chat. I'll definitely be going through that with Mahadi and Gabrielle and all the other artists that we onboard into the collective. But Rawa, I'm more than happy to stay in touch with you and kind of like shoot some ideas your way, you know, as we kind of build this out.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to be clear, like I think this is really exciting. I think you guys are doing like a fantastic job, and I'm really excited to see like what comes out of it. So just all the props goes to all you guys.
Thank you so much. And also thank you for joining our channel, and I mean our chats, and kind of responding to people's questions while we're having this conversation. It's been super helpful.
Yeah, I totally agree. Thank you, Rahwa. Yeah, this was our second session. We don't want to hold you guys too much longer, but we will. We want to continue this conversation, like both, like with Tigray Art Collective, and what they're doing, and also just widening and increasing like the knowledge of crypto and investing within our Tegaru community in general. Stay tuned, like follow our Instagram to see more about future sessions. We are at TPN DMV on Instagram. And then we also have a chat for Tegaru who are interested in crypto on Telegram, where we just share information and ideas. So if you're interested in joining that chat, please DM me or Tegaru Professionals Saron in this chat, and we'll add you to the chat. And yeah, I think we can close it here. Thank you so much to all of you for joining. If you want to just connect to like folks in this group in general, feel free to like share your social medias in the chat so people can stay connected. Yeah, so I think I'll end it here. Does anyone else have any last comments?
was gonna ask a question. Will this be, I know that it's recording. Are you guys going to be posting it somewhere or sending it via email for us to?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we did record this chat. I think with the last session, it was a little bit difficult to post on Instagram. So we'll try to do that. But if not, we'll probably share something like on our story, on the TPN DMV story. And folks can at least like DM us for a link to the presentation, to the recording. So I don't know if you're still here. Does that sound right?
Yep.
Yeah. So we'll share something on our story, but you can also just DM us on Instagram, and we'll make sure it gets shared with you.
Thank you guys. We appreciate this time.
Thank you.
Thank you all for joining. We look forward to the next conversation that we post.
Yep. Have a good night. Have a good week, y'all.
Bye, everyone.
See y'all.